You good, young man?
Sure.
You ready to do this? Oh, look at you got signals and everything else, little cues and stuff. Oh, you just a director waiting to direct.
You're off the chain today.
Waiting to direct. You got all that out of you now?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I see what your INSiiGHTS cup. We're gonna have another show. They want to know what you got in that cup.
And now, it's about that time.
Pre-record on my count. 7, 6, 5, 4. Here we go. Roger.
With the coach, McClelland on INSiiGHTS. 2 eyes in the middle. INSiiGHTS, where we always talk.
I'm Mickey Clayton, the coach, and with me is Rick Brown from Tampa downtown, with the man around town who takes jumpers and knocks them down. My man, Rick Brown.
Oh my goodness, he must be feeling good. He's telling a story because he knows my jumpers go everywhere. Who knows where they're going? That's why I just passed the ball. I'm just passing it to you, coach. I'm just gonna pass it to you. Just give me the dimes because I know you're gonna knock them down for me.
Oh well, see, we got Coach Darryl Marshall. He takes the people who can't shoot, and he teaches them how to shoot. So he gonna come on today, somebody said we got something going with Florida High. Well, right now, Florida High basketball programs kind of rolling, and we didn't even touch how they've been rolling in football too. Voted by as the #1 athletic department in the area, Florida High. No doubt about it.
Well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved, and rolling again this year. Just rolling again. Man, if I had it like they did, I'd probably still be coaching. I had it like them, Rick. Oh, man. Well, Rick, what's going on today?
Man, let me tell you. Everything is going on. Your favorite for your favorite team is back in action. So that should be interesting. Let's see what else is going on in this world. Tell me about this. Tell me about the SWAC. Some honors went down today.
Oh man, the honors went down the other day.
Okay.
A&M had 12 players, all in all, first and second team. Second team quarterback Musa, but the players of the year were all Jackson State, offense, defense, and coach. So, you 11-0. That's kind of to be expected. We have some. On our site, we got a SWAC report. We got the entire interview with Prime Time up there. And we got Southern's coach, Eric Dooley. And we took a clip from the commissioner to play a little bit later. But you did say something about my favorite team and Deshaun back, and how Busby gets a suite to ask the young ladies who had charged him if they wanted to go to the game. I'm not understanding that. I'm not understanding that, what that's all about. But I ain't that smart, so I probably won't figure that out.
It is above my pay level. It is, but I still question why. What good comes out of that? It seems like it's already going to be buzz anyway. Deshaun's coming back to Houston. The situation, how he left Houston. And then you're going to bring in an element of that. Like I said, above my pay grade.
Above your pay grade. I got you. Hey, we did get a lot of comments. I saw somebody tweeted something about how quiet, soft-spoken Heisman House Ward is. Coach Charlie Ward. What we asked him last week, said, do you get mad at him sometimes or something? Raise your voice?
Well, sometimes, yeah, I get a little into it sometimes. I love that man. That man. Oh, okay, Coach. Right, real quick. Who's quieter, Coach Ward or Coach Gene Granger?
Oh, Coach Ward, hands down. Coach Granger, I've seen him jump up and go all across the floor before. I've seen him go completely off. So they're not even in the same paragraph.
Okay.
We've been doing McClay's games, and they put a whipping on Godby boys last night. And Godby came in 2-0, McClay 1-0. And we talked about Sawyer Stone, number 15 from McClay. He said, obviously, the most improved player on McClay's team. You wouldn't even know he was out there last year. He went baseline on Potter's house, turned around in the air. Bam! Oh, did he turn the gym out? Oh, my. I was doing the game. I started yelling. I said, oh, my God, where did that come from? Oh, he's got much better. Much better. And then last night, as somebody told me, they saw Godby didn't get back on defense. McClay had a breakaway layup. Point guard Colin McAllister threw it off the backboard. Blaze Wallace caught it. Bam! They said, oh, what is going on? They got Florida High next week, Tuesday, so we had to adjust our schedule to make sure we do that. They're at Florida High, so I know how Coach Ward has those guys ready to go. So this is the test for McClay as the battle for the best in the city wages on.
Ooh, that's going to be electric. That is going to be electric. I can see that gym now. Oh my goodness.
Oh, no. Florida High got big time. They like a small junior college. They got the big jumbotron inside the gym with the pregame and everything. I said, oh, my goodness. I said, they got that thing rocking and rolling over there, boy. And then they got a kid that's playing over there with them. Anthony Robinson, voted as the top player in the city. Some say he might be one of the top players to leave Tallahassee. That's a heck of a statement. That's a heck of a statement to say, but that's what they're saying, going to Missouri. But the name that keeps coming up is right in that top 5 from Florida High is Trey Card. And they said, Coach, he a man. And I quit, I don't bother the kids. The ones I probably pick at the most are Florida High kids. I pick at them because we cover them so much, and they always speak. I mean, that's just how they are. They always acknowledge you. And I said something to Trey Card, and I said, Trey, we've been doing your game since you were playing AAU, and you were a little tall, skinny point guard. He said, yes, sir. I've watched those games a lot. And that's one of the things I like about what we do is, we have these students at different stages of their career.
Mm-hmm.
And you see them when they're young. You're like, no, if that one keeps going the right way, that might be a little special. Like we talk about the running back from Ben Pierce, from Bainbridge, Ben Pierce, who went on to Florida, now at the Texans, and in the same breath as Rookie of the Year. We had him playing Ricketts. Carried the ball 50 times. He was hurt. Didn't play till like game 5. Carried the ball 50 times for 379 yards. We got that game up there. So, so it's interesting to see some of these people as they grow up and matriculate. So that's one of the things that we really are fond of, and one of the things we're most excited about. But without further ado, I'm going to bring Coach Darryl Marshall on board. You're going to talk about, I don't know if they call them baby Seminoles, lady Seminoles, girl Seminoles, I don't know, but they're at Florida State University, and they bring the smoke. Welcome to the show again, Smoke Bringer.
Oh, man, thanks for having me.
Welcome, Coach. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Man, we can't forget you.
That's right, man. my number one man right there.
I'm glad you know it. I'm glad you know it. Because I talked to one of your players after the game. I saw him play, and I said, you know, y'all might be one of the better teams in the city again. She looked at me like she said, and who gonna beat us?
Oh. Oh.
I mean, and it was not cocky or arrogant. She was
Right.
like, and who's gonna beat us? Well, I called up a couple schools that'll give you a run if you know you don't play well. You got to beat them on it. She said, oh, "Okay, I just wondered who you thought was gonna beat us."
Full of confidence, man.
Man, I'm at the game. We doing Godby and McClelland last night. I can't hardly take the game. People want to know, you gonna do Monroe? You doing Monroe? I said, we could beat Ricketts and we could beat Florida High. I said, really? Oh yeah. I said, well, if you beat them, you probably go to the state then. If y'all beat them, you in your class, you'll go to the state. I said, but you in Florida High, I might have to.
If you can beat those two teams, man, you're a pretty good team right here.
Now, where did they get this confidence from, Coach Marshall?
Well, I mean, after playing against Tony Morgan, Adia Young, Jordan Rozier, and Kendall Thomas, if you can go to battle with those girls every day in practice, I mean, when it's your time to shine, the confidence is there now. So, I mean, you know, that, and this young bunch, man, they've always had that little confidence, you know, but now that shadow, that umbrella of Tony Morgan is gone. So now everybody can see it. So, you know, they're carrying it well, man.
Well, that was a good question because you lost two superstars. How do you replace that, Coach?
Can't never replace that, man. Those are, you know, those are two what they say, once in a lifetime type players, once in a career type players. And I was blessed to be able to have both of them for a number of years. But you can't replace them. All you can do, you know, is now it's by committee. You know, you would say that when they're here, right? You know, that we still need the others, but you know, now it's really up to the test now. You know, now it's on Front Street. You know, so we're grinding every day. We had a great month of June. Every day in the gym, going to different tournaments, and we brought it to conditioning, starting in September every day. And, you know, now we're in the thick of things. And, you know, we just finished our first 5 games, finished at 4-1. You know, they understand it's by committee. They understand everybody's important, you know, everybody has to come in every day with the right mindset. You know, we can't have no days off. So, you know, this is really turning into a real championship mindset type team where everybody is.
Let me stop you. What you've done is you've created a championship program.
Yes.
You have continued on regardless of the team for a few years now. So I just want to say what you built is a program, Coach. So please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I mean, and you're right. You know, every year, my first year was our only year not making it into the playoffs, but the other 7 years now, I'm sorry. You know, we're at the regional finals or state Final Four or state championship game. And, you know, and you're right. But it's a testament to these girls, man. They come in, they work hard, you know, and it's no excuses. They're showing up and giving it their all, and they learn from the group that's before them. You know, it should be no drop off, and that's what we have now. Well,
as not a neutral observer, but an observer and always with an opinion, I think the work ethic that they have in practice has increased tenfold.
Yes.
I remember there was some years I saw them and I was like, it don't seem like they love the game enough to. But when I've seen them lately, they get after it pretty good. Now your whole practice it's not even the same. It's like night and day, Coach.
And I was just about to say that it's night and day, man. And you're exactly right. You know, some girls over the years, young and coming up, you know, once again, you have that umbrella of Tony Morgan. You know, it overshadows a lot of things where the girls really can't see the importance of work ethic. But now, you know, it's night and day, man. Like I said, and I went back to the month of June because the month of June really taught us a lot about ourselves and how we wanted the season to go. You know, for them showing up every day to grind, you know, when you don't have to in the summer, you know, unless you really want to put this work in, you know, for them to do that every day in the month of June outside of Sunday, it was a beautiful thing. And, you know, once again, like our practices, man, we had a tough loss Saturday against Maynard Jackson out of Atlanta, downtown Atlanta. And, you know, if you know anything about downtown Atlanta, it's different. And, you know, we came back Monday, Coach, and I think I practiced Monday, Tuesday, and today, like our practices went up to another level with the intensity and focus, you know, film study, questions being asked. Like they're locked in, man. I'm just excited to be a part of this.
Well, Coach, is it possible with your stars leaving that you have perhaps a more balanced team?
Oh, yes. Coach, it's funny that you say that. Literally today in practice and film, that's what we talked about. You know, once again, they're learning. So they're saying, Coach, you know, we really want to focus in on our identity and what could our identity be? And one of the young ladies said balance. Matter of fact, it was my 8th grader, Taylor Powers. She said balance. I said, you're right. I said, we have a balance of everything from bigs to wings to guards. We have a balance of everything. We're working to become better defending that half court. We're working to become a pressing team. You know, I don't care what level of basketball you're on. You got to be able to run a half court set. You know, playoffs, you can't just run up and down the court. You got to be able to run a half court set, and we're learning those things. So, you know, but for them to recognize that, you know, it's really big. It's really big. So, but yeah, we're a much more balanced team, man. Much more balanced team, not just solely relying on a rescue.
Well, you also have a couple of young girls who haven't quite put it together. But Coach, I go to game early. I like to watch warm-ups. I like to see what's going on, what people are doing. And you could sit there and identify young ladies with a nice touch on the ball, and they're working on their spots that they shoot from. Yep. And I'm just looking at them, and I'm like, I don't even remember her, you know. But it's just some young girls that, you know, kind of bodes well for you down the road even.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And those, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 girls that are young that didn't play varsity last year, you know, and that's 8th, 9th, and 10th graders. And man, they're just ready. They're coming every day to learn how to get better and learn how to play the game at the varsity level. So my game plan with those young ladies is, I know it's going to be a building process. I want you to be great mid-January, February. You know your role. We sat down. They understand their roles. You know, that's when you said spots. That's why you see me laughing. You know, they know where their spots at, where they should be shooting this basketball from. You know, they know when to take it in and finish and when to look for that dump down pass and then when to rotate. You know, it's early. They're young. They're learning, but you can see that they're learning, man. I have a 9th grader, Coach. After every practice, she sit me down, Micaiah. She sit me down every day. After practice, we get out of practice 7:30. Me and her are here to 7:50, and we're writing on the chalkboard, and she's writing in her binder so she can take it home to study about what we do in this situation, you know. And it's just a beautiful thing to watch, and they're going to complement those veteran girls more and more when the season progresses.
Coach, I have to say I'm impressed. From the end of the season last year when I was in practice, I remember asking you about your big girl, and I said, Coach, she works so hard. I said, it has to be translated onto this floor at some point because she works so hard and she posts up so strong and she's working on a game. And it hadn't come across nightly when she plays, but I'm seeing some of the fruit of her labor, though. I'm seeing that some of it's starting to come.
Yes, sir. And what you also see, Coach, is a young lady that is now confident in herself and know that, okay, going to the next level is something that I definitely want to do. You know, so I'm confident in myself. I know where I want to go, and I know it's my time now. You know, the team is depending on me. She knows how important she is to this program, and you know, like her is night and day with her, man. I understand why she's not recruited heavily right now, because, you know, it's a learning curve she had to go through. But now I don't understand, you know, I don't want to call any schools out, but why these schools are not, you know, I need her right now, because you can't teach that size, you can't teach that body with her at that size and the footwork that she has, the touch with catching the basketball and shooting a mid-range shot. I mean, it's lovely, man. I love to see what has happened.
Well, I will say this. I've told a couple people about her, and obviously you hadn't heard from them because you would have told me that they had called you. But it gets to the point where you try to tell people about talent, and they look at you like the first question always pisses me off. Who else is recruiting?
I hate that.
I don't give.
I hate that. I hate that. I hate that.
I wish I could name a number of players that we have that end up being all conference players for us, helping us beat Florida State in Florida, and some of them they were recruited by only one school, us. So if you see what'll help you, then go get it. Don't wait till somebody else is recruiting them and say, "Oh, that justifies." It's like you don't have confidence in your own ability.
And that's how I take it as. When a coach tells me that you don't have confidence in your recruiting ability or your being able to identify a player, that's all that says to me. And I don't understand it. And you know what? I don't want to understand that way of thinking.
We had a young lady that we ended up sending to Hampton to play with my middle girl, Mickey. And that was Melanie Warner. And she went there to be with KK, but she didn't get in the office. And she ended up being the MEAC Tournament Player of the Year.
I remember, I thought she dominated, right? Yes.
She started 3 years. And I mean, and you're trying to tell people, and they were like, nah, who else recruiting? I said, well, okay, she's going to come back and hurt you.
Right.
You know, she's going to come back and hurt you right here in the city.
Right.
Rick, you got something you want to ask? I know you're a basketball guy.
Yeah, I was fascinated when you told me, Coach Marshall, how they came back after that loss.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think moving forward that will affect the team?
What, just that loss or the mindset of how they came?
Mindset.
I mean, you know, to become a better person is always to build character. You know, it's about what you go through, how you bounce back from what you've been through. And, you know, with that loss and the way we lost, and to only lose by 7, and to have those girls come back Monday when we get back in town, and, you know, that mindset, that type of character building is only going to help us in the long run, you know, when we get to these tough regular season games and more importantly, these tough playoff games. You know, you're just building toughness. That's all I get out of it, man. You know, those are girls that don't want to quit. They always want to get better, you know, and that's going to show up when it needs to show up, you know, and that's how I think that's going to help us moving forward.
Awesome.
But Coach, you traditionally play a competitive schedule. You're not a guy who ducks teams, ducks opponents. You look to play the best competition possible, because that's how you're going to prepare your team. Or better yet, don't let me put words in your mouth. You tell us why. Tell everybody.
It came from, you know, growing up under my daddy at Shanks High School when he's coaching, you know, the boys over there, and then playing with Ronnie Lane over there at FAMU High. And then, you know, getting my coaching under, you know, Al Blizzard and Anthony Robinson here. The only way you can get better is by going through the fire. And that's with life. I mean, the only way I can get better if I go through this tough situation and learn from this tough situation, and it's gonna make me better for the long run. We're not ducking anything. It's easy. It's right now, especially the way the playoffs are set up. It's easy for us to duck teams and get a great record and become a high seed and host playoff games. But when you in that playoff game against that good team and you ain't never faced that situation before, you can't learn on the fly like that, not in the playoff game, So that's why we went to Atlanta. We're going to Orlando. We're going back to Atlanta. We got Ricketts Tuesday at Ricketts. We got 7 games in a row starting Saturday, going to PK Young. That's on the road. The month of December is, we go through the grind in the month of December. We're going to you in the month of December. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, man, it just builds characters, builds toughness. It puts you in. You learn a lot about yourself. You see different situations. You come back and study it. And now, when the situation happens again down the season, it won't be new to you. It won't be a surprise. So, if call me, you're gonna get scheduled.
But tell me this: with you losing, I know how people watch rosters and all of that. Figure out they're gonna play you if your kids left. Was it easier for you to schedule teams this year because of the superstars you graduated?
I guess you can say that, yes, because I got some phone calls that's on my schedule where they wouldn't have
called you last year.
I haven't gotten that phone call before. I haven't gotten that email before, so I was shocked. But once again, if I got room on my schedule, you call me. I'm not going to dodge you. I'm not going to duck you. So we're playing those teams, and we'll see how that goes. And I'm sorry, I just saw some pop up, just got me for a minute. But we're ready to play, man. But yes, it has been a little easier to schedule some games now. Those 25 games went by fast.
Well, Coach Sports Diva, one of our people on here wanted to know, when are you in Atlanta again?
We going January. I want to say it's either the 5th and 6th or the 6th and 7th. It's a Friday and Saturday to Atlanta. She Got Game. She Got Game, is a big nationwide, tournament. And that's where we'll be. It's at the SWAC Complex.
Been there.
Nice. That's where the games are being played this year at the SWAC Complex. This past weekend, we just went. I said Atlanta, but we went to McDonald, Georgia, for Hoops for Hunger, and we played 2 Georgia teams. One of them being the Maynard Jackson team out of the city of Atlanta.
Okay, that's good.
Yep.
I don't know what Diva talks here. 850 people show up and support. Oh, she's saying
850.
850, coach.
We need all the 850 or 850 people. However you want to word.
Come on over.
She's trying to drum up some support for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, how's Guinea playing now?
Man, Guinea, man, she's averaging 15, 16 points a game now. We sat down and watched film. She can easily average 30 points a game. What she's doing and what she has to learn, is I have to play a full game because now I'm that person. I have to play a full game, and not saying that she's not playing a full game, but as for the scoring aspect and leading and stuff like that, she does take some plays off. But it's not in a bad way. I'm trying to make it make sense to you, but it makes sense to me. So she's we need a basket in Atlanta, in McDonald. We need it in these tough games. She took the ball and made it happen. She's probably averaged those 15 to 16 points in the second half, and it's once she learns that I can do this for a full game, it's very hard to stop that young lady. And she is tough. She's a tough girl. And once again, but she's one of those girls that's been on the varsity team since 8th grade. So she had Kendall, she had Tony, she had Jordan, she had Adia. She had those girls to go against and just get better from, you know. So now it's her time, and she's learning, and she's taking it under her wings, and she's ready, man.
Well, Coach, you know, me and you got a relationship, so we just always shoot it straight.
Let's talk.
You know, I always thought that she was able to do that because you let her do that last year. And she would go down in the corner and wait till the ball would come around and swing to her. And I was like, Coach, you need to get her involved some, make her handle the ball, because that's your point guard for the future.
Yeah.
But she got comfortable and went and took a second or third role on the team and would go try to rest in the corner.
Yeah.
You know? And so now it's on her. The ability's always been there. It's just her kind of maturing and understanding that she has to play and do it, especially if she goes to school. She's going to have to go at the point guard.
Exactly. And that's what I was referring to, you know, a part of what I was referring to earlier as that I call it the Tony umbrella, you know. For those years, that's what she would do. For those years, she didn't understand how important she was at that time, you know. As a young kid, I understand where she's coming from because I see what's in front of me. Why am I that important? So, you know, it was a lot of that battling that she had to do. On my end, I could have did 100 things different to prepare her for this. But
you learn, Coach.
But we learn, you know, we move on. And one thing about me, you'll never hear me say I know everything. So I want to learn every day, every year. And, you know, I was able to learn enough now to help her in this transition. You know, in the summer, she showed it that this is what she want to be. Now is continuing to learn how to do it. You know, now she knows the confidence is there. She knows she can do it. Now let's do it for a full game and watch when you hit 26, 30 points a game. It's like, oh, this is real. You know.
Well, plus you got some younger girls now that have a little different outlook, and you're putting them in those spots earlier for them to be able to handle it. Because I was just watching them. I said, I just think you have a pretty bright future. Yeah.
I'm playing. I got 11 players. I play all 11. I'm never know when I'm gonna need you. My dad always taught me, if you put somebody on your varsity team, you never know when you're going to need that person, even if it's this year or next year. You're going to need them. So if they on the team and if they on the team because you know that they can contribute, right? And if they're doing what they need to do in practice, put them on the floor. And you getting on the floor, you're getting the experience from Lanaya on down to Taylor Powell's my 8th grader. You know, you're going to get that experience of what you need.
Well, Coach, you know, we're going to get over there. We over there Tuesday to see the boys play when they play McClelland.
Oh, y'all going to miss a good one. We're going over to Ricketts, man.
Yeah, boy, it's rough over there in Ricketts. But I was over there. We have last year's game shows on our Roku channel.
Really?
We call it a classic, and we have it up there that your game when you play Ricketts is on our Roku channel. It runs probably 4 or 5 times a week.
Okay, I can go back and check that out.
Oh yeah, we got you up there. You in the classic section.
Yeah, classic. I like that.
Yeah. We got y'all up there. See, you need to go up there, Coach. Check us out.
Yes, sir, man. It's just a blessing, man, to be able to coach these girls and going against, you know, Coach David Sherrill, you know, just who happens to be family, you know, and you know what she is going to bring each and every year, you know. I mean, it's in that environment, which I love, you know, we just talked the other day about it, and the girls like, oh, they're going to bring their band, you know, we just love it, man. And, you know, we're going to go over there and compete, give it our all, you know, and let the chips fall. And they're a good team. You know, the young girl Genesis is stepped up this year and led and leading her team. I think she's at 25 a game now, something like that, you know. No, it's gonna be fun, man.
You know, Korea has a good team every year.
Every year. That's and that's, you know, that's why I build my program the way I'm building the program, because each year when a girls basketball team in Tallahassee puts on the uniform, they want to know how good they're going to be. And the one team that consistently comes up to compare their team to is Ricketts. If you can beat Ricketts, if you can hang with Ricketts, you're a good team. You know, that's what I want my name to be a part of. You know, if you can beat Florida High, if you can hang with Florida High, you're a good program, Then, that's that. Like I say, that's my family. We love going to battle, and hopefully I can, just live up to what she's done. She's done a great job.
Well, Coach, they taught that jump, but they don't put you on the schedule.
You see it, right?
Yeah. Hey, if you could beat Florida High, you're pretty good. But they not on your schedule. I know Florida High didn't tell you no.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, that's why I don't even talk no more, man. It's hey, if you want to play, call me. We ain't going nowhere.
Right, ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Even Sports Diva talk about, Coach, you already there.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You already there. Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time, especially on short notice. I didn't get in touch with him till late. And he's always been there when we try to get to him. He's always there. He's always been a supporter of ours with insights. And we've always supported him. All three of my daughters with Florida High. So they've all worn those colors. I still got Florida High paraphernalia in my closet. So we appreciate you, Coach. Anything you want to say in closing?
Me? No, I just want to thank y'all, man. From once again, day one when I first got this position, you came to Florida High, did a game for us, and from day one, man, you've been there for me, and I just want to appreciate you for everything. And y'all got my support 100,000%. You can call me as late as you need, early as you need. I'm gonna be there for you, man. So y'all got my support, and I want to thank y'all.
Man, I appreciate that. Coach Ricky told me one time, he said, I ride with you.
I ride with you, Coach.
All right now.
When we had our tournament down in Daytona, Florida High was one of the first teams to come down there.
Yep.
So we appreciate that support. You a Rattler, aren't you?
Family High?
Yeah.
Baby Rattler, that's right. That's one of the hardest games for me to coach, but I'm a Baby Rattler till I die, baby.
I got it. I got it completely. We actually have a piece that we're going to show from the SWAC Commissioner, and he's going to say some things. You are more than welcome, Coach, to stay on as long as you want to, participate in the discussions, and be a part of the program. But if you have to run, we understand that too.
I got to go, man. I got to finish up some work, and my lady says she got some food cooked for me, man. So it can't be too late for that.
Not you.
Not me.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck now.
Sir, man. Thank y'all.
Hey, as always, man.
Yes, Mr. Hill, I would say we already have a SWAC network that's called HBCU Go in conjunction with ESPN. When you look at our football games, out of the 60 plus games, only 8 of them were not televised. So what we looked at overall a couple of years ago was that we wanted our games to be on national television. Obviously, the digital side has been able to expand, but having your own network has to equate to revenue. And ESPN and HBCU Go has given us the greatest opportunity to enhance our overall revenue structure. That's what our corporate partners were looking for, and that's what ultimately we were able to deliver. So it is not our intent to create a SWAC network. Part of our deal with HBCU Go is that they're going to expand their platform, where all of our SWAC games, whether it's football, softball, baseball, soccer, track, tennis, will be streamed on HBCU Go, and some of those will be picked up on a national basis as football was. So part of the revenue that we're receiving, we're going to invest in infrastructure on our 12 campuses to where we'll have artificial intelligent cameras that will be able to deliver high definition content. And we're going to create these stations through HBCU Go where you can log on 24 hours, 7 days a week and watch SWAC sports. So it's a long range plan. This is phase 1, and we're going to ultimately get there.
In terms of expansion, we know the SWAC is in a good place, but there's other HBCs, if you will, quality brands who are
HBCUs.
clamoring. Would there be expansion at some point?
HBCUs.
Is that a possibility?
Well, I think any and everything is always a possibility. It is not our intent to expand. We're not out there seeking expansion. We did not seek to expand with FAMU and Bethune-Cookman, but when those opportunities became available, we clearly jumped on those opportunities. I can tell you we're not going to expand for the sake of expanding. If you go back and look at what I've said ever since I've been in this chair, it has been that statement. We're not going to expand just for the sake of expanding. And if we do expand, it's going to be more about what those institutions can bring to the Southwestern Athletic Conference. How are they going to allow us to grow? How will they allow us to be able to generate the additional revenue? Some of the things that you would probably look at from an expansion standpoint, are those key elements. They're gonna have to match our institutions, from an academic standpoint, from a competitive standpoint, from a geographical standpoint, and also we're gonna be looking, for if an institution is able to come in, how many fan support, media market. So what those other power conferences are looking for, this power conference will be looking for the same. So if somebody fits that bill and it's going to be beneficial to the SWAC, we will definitely take a look at it, but we're not out there seeking expansion at this point.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Commissioner. FAMU was recently left out of the FCS playoffs. They thought they had a team that could make it this year. And part of the reasoning for that was their non-conference scheduling. Is there a way the SWAC can help supplement a team schedule to put them in a better position to possibly make the playoffs if they don't win the conference?
When you say supplement, please expound on that question.
Yeah, there's obviously a mandated number of games that have to be played by teams in conference. Is there a way the SWAC can possibly, I guess, make it a way where schools can have more opportunities to play non-conference games instead of having to only rely on those mandated conference games throughout the season?
Well, the 8-game conference schedule was voted upon by the athletic director. So the institutions will determine whether we play 8 games, 7 games, 6 games, no games. That's not a conference office decision. That's an institutional decision. But we have a strong, legitimate Division I conference, and our games are strong enough in order for you to get into the FCS playoffs, as evident last year from Florida A&M. There are a lot of politics, as we know. There are a lot of deserving teams, as you know, when it comes to the FCS playoffs. We've always encouraged our teams, not just in the sport of football, but in the sport of basketball, to play a legitimate Division I conference schedule. You're starting, and I don't want to deviate from FAMU, but you're starting to see it in basketball. We did not mandate the schedule. The Pac-12 agreement of bringing in those schools are going to do nothing but help our net rankings. Going out on the road and playing mid-major schools that we can get some victories, and you've seen that in basketball, versus playing the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 team in the nation where you know you're not going to win. And we've talked about the same thing in football. We understand if you want to go get a game guarantee that you're probably going to try to come back and get a game guarantee on your own. Going back to the television conversation, the more revenue that we bring in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, the more revenue we distribute to our member institutions, and it'll alleviate that need to go and have to get those game guarantees, which will give them the opportunity to play some of those teams that are at the FCS level that you know that you can compete with, win those games, and get the requisite amount of points in order to get into the FCS playoffs. So in my opinion, it's not the reduction of the SWAC games. It's equalizing that non-conference schedule, those 3 games that you have, playing the right schools to be able to get in. If Jackson State somehow, Kendrick, did not make it to the championship game, they would have been a lock into the SWAC championship, the FCS playoffs. And that was because of the way that they scheduled. So it can be done. We've proven last year that it can be done, but institutions have to schedule based upon their needs, and the conference office will not interfere with that.
Comment on what he said, Rick.
All right, fam, you had three. All right. No, let's start from the beginning. No, I'm not going to jump on fam with the expansion and the TV deals and I loved HBCU Go. I think that's a great start, a great investment. It was cool to just go to TV and it was right there. Every week there was a SWAC game of the week. I love that. The money and Charlie Neal, one of the old time announcers who's been covering HBCUs probably since I was born. But he said, and they're expanding it. They're expanding, and Commissioner was talking about they're doing other sports. They're going to do a lot of other sports. That is good. And with that, you probably don't need to think about a SWAC channel like the SEC or a SWAC network at this juncture. Maybe there'll be a time, but maybe not right now. Let's see where this goes and take it from there. Fascinating about the automated cameras down the line in each spot, in each institution. That's going to be a lot of money. But if you can do that, I mean, the streaming capabilities, and you really don't, as INSiiGHTS has proven, you can have good quality just with the right camera. You don't need to have overhead cameras and 4, 5, 25K cameras. Just something right that'll get you the action. Great for one camera would be great for volleyball. It's right there. You may need 2 or 3 for football. Maybe a $12,000, $15,000 investment for streaming. Man, you think of the alumni, how much alumni loves to see their teams and what they'll do. I mean, especially the ones who don't go to all the games. I think that's it. That is the right direction. This commissioner sounds like he is progressive. He's thinking forward. You have to continue to think forward, think of the future. I don't want to touch the playoff thing with fam because I'm still a little bitter over that, Coach. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think that Dr. McClelland is extremely sharp, and he's done a lot in the SWAC. We've had conversations earlier where he said, he wasn't really looking to expand, but he had his eyes on FAMU and Bethune. We talked about it, and the FAMU came. We knew that Cookman would go with us. We talked about Tennessee State and what it would build in terms of a super conference. So those discussions have been had. The FCS playoffs, is some interesting stories, commentary out there now, even among people who are saying that they're upset about how they go about awarding a home bid and the amount of money that you have to. That's what you've bid that the NCAA will make, that you're going to deliver X amount of dollars to them. I always said that I was never really hung up on the playoffs because at the end of the day, you lose money. You don't really make money from it. You make a lot more money going to the Celebration Bowl, the checks that are written for the institutions, as opposed to you having to bid for FCS playoff, and the NCAA gets like 75% of the ticket revenue. It's not that big a financial reward to stay. You're trying to give your team a better chance to win. But the first rounds of the tournament, I think the largest, most attended game was like 12,000, and all the way down to 3,200 for some of the games. They were not very well attended, and there are complaints about how they went about awarding not the bids, but who got to host them. And so that's what the discussion is with the schools that got the so-called bids, they're not happy with the process. There's also discussion that the way so many schools and athletic directors are unhappy with the whole process, that there's a large number of FCS schools that have gone to the other division. Troy State, James Madison, a lot of them have gone on to the other division. Troy State, for one, we keep saying they actually wanted us to go with them, Florida A&M, and agreed to give us all the material that they did when they submitted their bid and their 5-year plan, because they said that we could play each other and it's a turnaround trip. And they said, I'll never forget that the president told our president that Troy does not have the name brand that Florida A&M has. He said, people don't know who Troy is, but everybody knows who Florida A&M is. Georgia Tech said the same thing. When we went with Ken Riley and we went to Georgia Tech, and they showed some things to us with the athletic department. And they were saying, they talked about how they have the Atlanta Classic, and they said that if we leave in Atlanta, those Florida A&M tags blow us off the highway rolling up here to follow that team. And they said, you have a program with a brand that people follow that brand. Mm-hmm. So they said, you have more support than we have, because if, believe it or not, at the time, Florida A&M had more students than Georgia Tech had. Georgia Tech was right around 4,500 one time.
Wow.
Engineer school, it takes a lot for you to get in there. But the SWAC waters are hot. We've had a lot of success playing the Pac-12 teams when they came to our gyms and played. I'm sure they're not happy about that. They won't cancel it because we owe them return games on some of them. But we got some W's out of that. Mm-hmm. I think South Carolina State just beat Eastern Carolina. I saw them against South Carolina earlier, and those guys flat shoot the ball, and they shot themselves in. They got them within 3 or 4 points of South Carolina with about 2.5 minutes to go. So one of the things that Coach Prime said was, if you have any of us attend somewhere, you don't just have those supporters from that school. All the HBCUs, not HBCs, but all the HBCUs are going to support that team.
That's right.
Every time there's a W where we win against a PWI, it's a blow for all of us.
Yep.
So, he's exactly right about that. What'd you think about Bethune-Cookman making a coaching change? Terry Sims got relieved of his coaching duties. They are now conducting a nationwide, worldwide search to replace him.
I never like jumping on coaches who are fired. I don't. But as a former coach, one coach told me that you're hired to be fired, which took me a long time to understand. What do you mean by that? What do you mean you're hired to be fired? You're hired to have success and to win. Yeah, but eventually, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get fired. So, but the Rattler in me just want to say, Dad, you lose to the Rattlers 2 times in a row, and everything just goes crazy. But I didn't think he was a bad coach, personally, and I want to know if there's something else going on.
Oh, yeah. They've been wanting to get rid of him. Yeah. It's a lot of issues going on down there. A lot of issues, and it's a lot. Going back to Lynn Thompson, who was the stalwart of the athletic department, the dean of the HBCU athletic directors, and how he was treated. So it's a lot that's going on down there. I wish them good luck. I wish them good luck in what they're trying to do. But back to being fired, I had a reporter from a local paper sit in my office one day and tell me to my face that they get raises and promotions out of getting coaches fired. Told me that to my face.
I don't know. Number one, I'm thinking he had to, because if it's at the same institution that I'm thinking about, they didn't have money to give raises. to. So that's ridiculous. But people like, for some reason, people like controversy, it seems like, or mayhem. And so mayhem sells. Now, I do know some reporters who used to write, I don't like the word negatively, but it wasn't too positive. It wasn't too positive about anything they wrote. They were always looking for that angle. I do know reporters who are like that. I refuse to be that reporter. I'm not looking for dirt. I'm not. Now, if dirt finds me, I am a journalist first, and I will. But if I don't know, I'm not looking for it. So, I mean.
Well, Rick, this particular reporter had applied for a job as my assistant basketball coach. Okay. Once he did get hired as an assistant basketball coach, it was all downhill after that.
Did he know basketball, coach?
We never even got to that. His resume didn't stand up to what I was receiving from other people. And I remember one time I asked him, I said, well, we have 4 starters who are hurt, but you don't say that. He said, I don't make excuses for your losing. I said, no, you just stating the facts, but it's all right. So he got what he wanted. He ended up being a reporter that was on the Florida State beat. He wrote the same type of stories over there about the basketball coach, the men's coach there that he was writing at FAMU. The alumni stopped it. He wrote 2 stories like that. They pretty much said, if y'all don't get him under control with his reporting, we're going to take all our money out of the out of the newspaper.
Skirt.
Stop that. The tone of those. It's so much stuff that goes on that I rarely talk about, but that is some true stuff. That's some true stuff. So it's just, we talk and we try to keep it real, straight, no chaser. That's what we do. And speaking of straight and no chaser.
Gentlemen, well, I'm going to get right to it tonight because I need to be petty. I've actually been practicing at it, and I'm getting pretty good. But we will get to that in just a moment. The quest for the state championship continues for Florida High as they dispatch the Swanee like an old mop, 38-13, and will now face Bishop Verreau. And in an absolute shocker, Monroe played like David and slayed Goliath, North Florida Christian, 40-35. That is more than deserving of a huge congratulations to the Bobcats as they will now advance to the semifinals versus First Baptist Academy. With a win, both teams will advance to the state championship game. Now, over in South Georgia, Thomasville fell to Carver, 28-23. But it goes to show that if you stay the course and remain dedicated, you can be successful. Remember, Thomasville started the season a woeful 1-3 and reeled off 8 straight wins into a deep playoff run. So we congratulate them on an excellent season. And I love you too, Dr. Miller. But I am sorry. Your beloved Fighting Syrup Makers of Cairo fell to Troup County 27-17. So that closes our coverage of South Georgia. Congratulations to those teams as well, and we look forward to next season.
Good season,
guys. As I stated earlier, I have absolutely nothing else better to do. So I will share a special presentation from the Florida Classic pregame tailgate. Now, we all know what the result of that game was. Yeah. So I wonder what I'm going to come up with next year. Coach, roll that beautiful bean footage. Enjoy. I'll see you next week.
A special presentation to you.
No, I don't need it.
I'm doing. We have a special presentation to the Dr. Reverend Kevin M. James Sr. I don't need it. And we also have a presentation of Wildcats all around the world. Oh, no. This is a great birthday celebration. So, if you would, please turn your attention to our happy birthday sign. Now, we normally have a cake every year, but this year we don't have a cake. We have something much more special. So, without further ado, everyone. Happy birthday to the losers! Happy birthday, everybody! Let's give it up for the Wildcats!
Oh, Earl.
Are you doing something? Well, 365 days have now passed. And now you have another 364 days to think about it.
Keep practicing being petty, Earl. I'm okay with that, brother. I am okay with that.
Say you okay with that?
I am okay with that. A little pettiness is all right.
Yeah, pettiness is okay. I thought that was a pretty humorous.
Oh,
welcome to Todd's Talking, NFL Week 12 in review. Mick and Rick, Thanksgiving Day, we were treated to a trifecta of good football games. First off, in Detroit, Buffalo traveled back to Detroit and got their second win in 5 days at Ford Field. Tyler Boyd's 45-yard field goal with 2 seconds left leads Buffalo over Detroit 28-25. Next up, in Dallas, the Cowboys defense held Saquon Barkley to 39 yards, and it was the CeeDee Lamb show. Lamb 6 catches for 106 yards leads the Cowboys to a 28-20 victory over the Giants. The trifecta was capped off Thanksgiving evening with the contest between the New England Patriots and the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota's 33-26 comeback victory was led by Kirk Cousins' 299 yards and a touchdown, and Justin Jefferson's 139 yards and a touchdown. Mac Jones threw for a career-high 382 yards and a touchdown, although it being a losing cause. Sunday, the Broncos traveled to Carolina and probably should have stayed at home. The Broncos' struggles continue as they fall to the Panthers 23-10. Russ might want to let somebody else cook. This is not what Russell Wilson or the Broncos faithful expected. In Jacoby Brissett's swan song appearance before Deshaun Watson's Cleveland Brown debut, the Browns shut out Tom Brady and the Bucs in the second half. The Browns tied the score with a touchdown late in regulation and win it on a Nick Chubb 3-yard touchdown run 23-17 in overtime. Let me be the first to say, welcome back, Deshaun Watson. Baltimore visited Jacksonville and pretty much had this one under control, but let it slip away. In a wild finish, Jacksonville and Baltimore scored a combined 33 fourth-quarter points, and Trevor Lawrence hit Marvin Jones with a 10-yard touchdown pass with 14 seconds remaining. And the Jags go for 2 and win 28-27. The Dolphins hosted the Texans, and their starters played one half, basically a practice for Miami. They led 30-0 at the half and win 30-15. I think Texans were looking forward to their upcoming visit from Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns this weekend. What do you think? In Chicago, new Jets quarterback starter Mike White threw 3 touchdown passes and 315 yards as he led the Jets past the Justin Fields-less Bears 31-10. In Nashville, in a rematch of the AFC divisional playoff game from 2021 and possibly a 2022 playoff preview, the Bengals and the Titans squared off in a tough physical contest.
That was a good game.
Cincinnati held Derrick Henry to 38 yards, and behind T. Higgins' 7 catches, 114 yards, and a game-winning touchdown, Cincinnati wins 20-16. In the nation's capital, the Commanders, behind rookie running back Brian Robinson, 125 total yards and a touchdown, hang on and defeat the Falcons 19-13. Kendall Fuller's late-game goal line interception seals the deal for Washington. Man, those Fullers sure enough know how to play defensive back. Washington is making a serious push for the playoffs, now sitting at 7-5. Arizona hosted the Chargers, and in a back-and-forth tilt, Justin Herbert rallies the Chargers to victory. Herbert connected with Austin Eckler for what they thought was the game-tying touchdown with 15 seconds left, but then the Chargers surprised everybody and went for two. Herbert hit Gerald Everett for the two-point conversion, and the Chargers win 25-24. Wow. In a crazy good game in the desert, the Raiders slipped by Seattle 40-34 in overtime. Josh Jacobs had an incredible game, 299 yards rushing and another 74 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Pay the man, you heard me? In Kansas City, the Chiefs hosted a beat-up Rams team and had no problems. Mahomes passed for 320 yards and a touchdown. Kansas City wins 26-10. In a defensive struggle in San Francisco, the 49ers shut out New Orleans 13-10. New Orleans was turned away at the goal line twice in the second half, once on a fumble by Alvin Kamara, his second fumble of the day. Sunday night in Philly, the Eagles proved to be too much for Green Bay, and in a high-scoring affair, the Eagles rushed for 363 yards, including 157 yards by Jalen Hurts, while Miles Sanders added another 143 yards. The Eagles win 40-33. Monday night in Indianapolis, Tomlin's Steelers just unfortunately never, ever seem to quit. The Steelers outlast the Colts and win 24-17. This week's player to watch, Raiders running back Josh Jacobs. Jacobs, in his 4th year playing for a contract, leads the NFL in rushing with 1,159 yards and another 325 yards receiving to go along with his 9 touchdowns. Show me the money. Josh Jacobs doing it, and doing it well. See you after week 13 if I don't get fired.
Oh, wait. Todd, what? Don't get deep. What? You can't give up your catchphrase, Todd. Come on.
Oh, you said if you don't get fired. Well, that's a possibility.
Yes.
Sending that stuff to me 2 hours before we go on the air. Supposed to be in on Tuesday morning. That's special needs Todd. Every week he texting me about something else. Now he want his own show. Okay, Todd, you're part of a team. We do it's you part of the segment.
You give a cowboy an inch.
Enough said, right there. That right there. Yeah. that right there. That's that part right there. Okay, I got you. Oh, wow.
I can't take it. I can't. Legends often see themselves achieving their dreams long before others catch on. On today's Remembering the Legends, we shine the spotlight on a man who said in high school he was going to be an NFL player. Today, we honor former Florida A&M Rattler and NFL punter Greg Coleman. Born September 9th, 1954 in Jacksonville, Florida, Gregory Jerome Coleman wrote in his Jacksonville Reigns High School yearbook he wanted to be an NFL punter. Most people laughed because back in the 60s and early 70s, there was no one of color punting in the NFL. That didn't faze Coleman. After graduating Reigns, Coleman went to FAMU, where he would pull double duty as the team's kicker and punter. A multi-sport athlete, Coleman also ran the hurdles at FAMU and had the 7th fastest time in the nation during his senior season. On the field, Coleman's athleticism, precision, and accuracy earned him All-American honors. And in 1976, Coleman's dream came true as he became the first black punter to be drafted into the NFL when he was selected in the 14th round by the Cincinnati Bengals. While he didn't make the squad, the following year, he spent the season with the Cleveland Browns before they released him. Thinking his career was over, Coleman asked God for one more chance. Within 2 weeks, the Minnesota Vikings was having a trial camp, and Coleman went. He impressed the team with his accuracy and was signed, starting a fantastic 10-year career in the land of 10,000 lakes. You know you're a bad man when nicknames are given to you. Sportscaster Howard Cosell on one Monday Night Football game coined Coleman Coffin Corner Coleman for his ability to pin opposing teams deep near their goal line. That name stuck, and so did Coleman, who wrapped up his 12-year NFL career following the 1988 season with Washington. In 162 NFL games, Coleman averaged 40.6 yards per punt with a career long of 73 yards. Following his playing days, Coleman spent the next 32 years working with the Vikings radio broadcast before retiring following the 2021 season. Coleman is a member of the Vikings' 25th and 40th anniversary teams, a member of Raines High School Hall of Fame, the State of Florida Track and Field Hall of Fame, Florida A&M Sports Hall of Fame, and was inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame in 2021. Just because it hadn't been done before didn't stop Coleman from realizing his dream. It wasn't easy overcoming adversity, doubters, and naysayers, but he did it thanks to an unwavering faith in his God-given ability. That's what legends do. That, as well as opening blacks to a world of punting in the NFL, is why Coleman is a legend.
Ding-a-ling. That was my roommate in college for a minute.
What?
We used to call him Ding-a-ling.
Because he was a knucklehead.
Oh no, he was always he always kind of was a well thought out, articulate guy.
Mm-hmm.
No, didn't get caught up in a whole lot of craziness. He was always professional. He was. I couldn't tell you why they called him that, but he was always professional. You know, so it's always good to see him. That was a good choice there.
Thanks.
We appreciate everybody kind of being with us. We, went over a little bit, but we appreciate you. Remember, we're on INSiiGHTS Roku and INSiiGHTS YouTube. We interrupt all programming on INSiiGHTS. On the Roku channel, INSiiGHTS Roku, for our live telecast. After this goes off, we go back to our regularly scheduled programs. We appreciate y'all. And Isaiah Land accepted a bid to the East-West Shrine game.
All right.
So we got things happening in the SWAC. Yeah, I see you with the INSiiGHTS Cup. That's my guy.
Right. For everybody to see.
We appreciate you. Rick, I appreciate you so much, brother.
Appreciate you, Coach. Most deaf.
Your attention, please. Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
INSiiGHTS is the copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises. It is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representation.
Rick Brown, the man from Tampa downtown, the man who's around town, who takes his jumper and knocks him down. Rick Brown, we appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, folks.
For sure.